Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome. Good afternoon. Do we have it up enough? Good afternoon. Oh. Good afternoon. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the annual MHCH celebration, United for Housing Justice. To welcome us into this space and to say an opening prayer, I'm going to invite Pastor Amy to come forward. Pastor Amy. There you go.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to First United Methodist Church, Pasadena. We are so honored to have all of you here. You represent really the best of the city of Pasadena with your love and commitment to economic justice, to housing, to all of the members of our community. And so we are just really honored to have you here today and grateful for your presence, grateful for your ministry, grateful for your witness, for your service, for all that you do to strengthen this city. So thank you. On behalf of our congregation, welcome. Let me open us with prayer today. Gracious God, we are so grateful. We are grateful for this beautiful city that we live in, for the people that we call our neighbors, for the opportunity to be a part of your kingdom here on earth, of creating a community of justice and kindness, a community where all persons are welcome and indeed all persons are housed. We pray, God, your blessing on this time this afternoon. Fill us with a new vision. Fill us with hope and inspiration. And guide us, God, in all that we do, that we might be a part of your work here in Pasadena. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Amy, and thank you to First Methodist Church for allowing us to use this space this afternoon. You were given a quiz when you came in the door. Hopefully some of you got it. Some of the answers to those quiz will be sprinkled throughout the program, so you might want to listen close to get the answers to those quiz questions. You were also given the chance to bid on an item in the silent auction, and the winners of that auction will be announced toward the end of the meeting. Also, if you need to use the restroom, it's out this door to the right, and then they're on the left. That's where the bathrooms are. So this afternoon, we gather as partners and co-laborers in the work to create a community of justice and compassion, where everyone is secure in their housing, where, to paraphrase the words of the prophet Micah, everyone can live in their own home with no one to make them afraid. We here in Pasadena, thanks to the work of the Pasadena Tenants Union and those of us who joined in their struggle for tenant justice, are just off of a fresh major victory that will make thousands of Pasadenans secure in their home, no longer afraid. We passed Measure H, rent stabilization and tenant protection. For many residents, that means no longer being afraid of exorbitant rent hikes, no longer being afraid of harassment from landlords, no longer being afraid of displacement, no longer being afraid of losing their homes. They get to live in their homes, no longer afraid. And we're here to celebrate that. We're also here to celebrate other housing justice victories and initiatives, such as the launching of a nonprofit to form the San Gabriel Valley Community Land Trust. To get a brief overview of some of our work, including recent initiatives, we're going to watch this short video. Today, many people must make the terrible choice between paying rent or having enough food. Tragically, thousands have ended up on our streets. People of color, seniors, and women are especially vulnerable. We need housing for all income levels. But how do we get there? Misconceptions must be dispelled, and people must be mobilized to advocate to those in power, just like the prophets of old. Within a decade, Making Housing and Community Happen, or MHCH, participated in lowering Pasadena's homeless count by 56%. We have found solutions that work. Affordable housing transforms cities, churches, and people like Cynthia Kirby.
I spent nearly a decade of my life in and out of homelessness, struggling with severe domestic violence and addiction. I remember in my 10 years of homelessness learning about the inclusionary fee and learning that new apartment buildings had to have a certain set aside for affordable housing. That to me was hope. Those were things that that her group did that we're responsible for. So to realize once I was housed how much advocacy went into all of the policy and legislative changes that made it possible for me to have a home. Yeah. Today I've reunited with my daughter. I work part-time at my church as an administrative assistant, and I do a lot of advocacy around solutions to homelessness.
Jesus changed the world with teams. MHCH follows this example. Thanks to our inclusionary housing team, developers in Pasadena must set aside 20% of their units as affordable. As of 2021, this has led to over 1,000 affordable units at no cost to the city. Thanks to our Congregational Land Committee, over 46 churches have asked us to help shape their vision to have affordable housing on their underutilized land. And they are also advising cities on how to adjust zoning to make this possible. Phil Burns, head of MHCH's Congregational Land Committee, shares his story.
I'm a follower of Jesus Christ who has been called into serving as an urban planner. And I've been blessed to contribute to the work of MHCH, and in turn, MHCH has really been a blessing to me and to my company, the Arroyo Group. Today, I chair the Congregational Land Committee, which is focused on supporting congregations that want to build affordable housing on their land. Through MHCH, I've been able to mobilize the resources of our firm to do that, and we've seen how God has really blessed this effort where we now have burgeoning partnerships nationwide.
Having started a safe parking program in April 2021, our safe parking team will host church parking sites throughout the San Gabriel Valley for people living in their vehicles, where they receive support to become rehoused. Our North Fair Oaks Empowerment Team is transforming a once thriving black business district with and by the community. 150 surveys and the Northwest Job Fest helped launch this team, and today a traffic signal they advocated for stands as a tall symbol of hope. Dr. Gilbert Walton is a member of the North Fair Oaks team.
I'm Dr. Gilbert Walton. I am a retired physician and deacon here at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church. I moved to Pasadena about 30 years ago. At that time, African Americans constituted about a third of the population. Now we are below 10%. Some of those people moved away from this church because of housing injustice. As a result of that, we would like to do, in the spirit of Isaiah 58:12, restore the streets with dwellings. And we are operating by the motto of MHCH, which is we would like to beautify and not gentrify.
MHCH is launching a community land trust, or CLT, whereby people own their homes, but the land is held by a trust, thereby keeping the homes permanently affordable. Started by African Americans in the Deep South, CLTs have spread worldwide, including one in Irvine that now encompasses Orange County. Our accessory dwelling unit, or ADU team, worked with state policymakers, and today single or multifamily property owners can have several ADUs. Within 2 years, our Affordable Supportive Housing Advocates, or ASHA team, has garnered the approval of 149 units for housing our homeless neighbors. and over 100 units of affordable senior housing right next to City Hall. Our letter writing, homeless to house bus tours, meetings with city officials, and prayer vigils are helping to create what Dr. King called the beloved community. We have a network of over 20 congregations and over 50 active committee members driven by their callings, passions, gifts, and skills. We also do one-day Housing Justice Institutes nationwide. Pastor Brita Pinkston of Pasadena Foursquare Church will describe how her congregation is working with MHCH to advocate for affordable housing.
Affordable housing helps us to honor what is asked of us in Scripture, and that is to love God and love our neighbor. And that's what I appreciate about MHCH. They put people in the center of the conversation and help build community. Our church was gifted with 9 units right next to our sanctuary. We set these aside for low and very low income renters. We wish we could set aside more since the need is so great. And we support the work of MHCH since their goal is to make sure there is decent and affordable housing for everyone in our city.
Thank you, Brita, for that beautiful word and the work that you and your church are doing. We are so appreciative of you, as well as the many other dedicated supporters and volunteers involved with MHCH. The high cost of housing is one of the biggest causes of poverty in our nation today, and yet there's essentially no law that requires that affordable housing be built. That's why we need to advocate for it. The church has a very significant role to play, with biblical mandates to care for those on the margins, and role models like the prophets and Jesus himself, whom all spoke to those in authority about doing justice. We're about equipping people to speak to decision makers knowledgeably and with respect. We educate, advise, organize, and make housing and community happen. Consider hosting a one-day Housing Justice Institute to mobilize your community. We're changing cities, changing congregations and lives as together we seek a world where everyone has a decent and affordable place to live. No one should have to choose between a place to live and a meal to eat. All deserve a place to call home.
Well, that guy sounded familiar. So we're going to be recognizing MHCH teams, giving certificates of appreciation to our partners, and also giving out Housing Justice Rockstar Awards. And when we do that, after we've introduced all of each group, we invite you not only to clap, but there are these little bells in your table that you can use those to shake too. So now can you have the PowerPoint up? Okay. All right. Okay. So at this time, I'd like to invite our safe parking team to come up. I also want to invite representatives from the organization that provides services to our parkers, Foothill Unity Center, as well as representatives from the host church, Trinity Lutheran Church, to come forward. Our safe parking team, you can come right up here. Actually, maybe right over there, since he's got the, sorry. So our safe parking team established the first safe parking program for people who live in their vehicles in the San Gabriel Valley. And this team is working to establish more programs throughout the San Gabriel Valley. And I invite Wendy McGrail, sorry, I'm throwing you all over the place. I invite Wendy McGrail, the chair of the team, to come say a few words.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here today. A safe parking program is a comprehensive intervention program and a first step in moving unhoused people living in their vehicles towards housing. It provides confidential, safe, and monitored overnight parking with restroom facilities. It includes case management to assist with life issues and connections to resources such as health care, food, employment, and housing. The goal of safe parking is to get people into housing. Therefore, all participants must be committed to being housed. Our Safe Parking Committee was started in 2019 in response to the lack of any safe parking programs in the San Gabriel Valley. And our committee consists of Jill Shook, MHCH, Tom Petersmeyer. Tom, do you want to wave back there? He's a retired banker and financial advisor. Melody McNulty and Sandra Ware with Foothill Unity Center, and today Tashera is representing them. And myself, Wendy McGrail, and I represent Temple City Coalition and the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. We currently have one successful safe parking site at Trinity Lutheran Parkers. Program perform administrative functions, screen parkers, and provide case management. Our site in Pasadena is currently at caseload with 5 parkers, and we have several on our waiting list. And since launching the site over a year ago, 3 participants have moved into permanent housing, and we're very, very proud of that. A key goal of our committee for this coming year is expansion, and we're exploring grants to fund a part-time outreach coordinator to engage with cities on policy and funding, and to identify possible church sites for expanding our services. So if anybody here is interested in exploring a safe parking program at your church, you can talk with Tashera or Tom. And we just thank you, our community, for your support of this committee and the only safe parking program so far in the San Gabriel Valley, and we ask for your continued support as we expand our program. Thank you.
So we're also giving a certificate of support to Foothill Unity Center and to Trinity Lutheran Church, which hosts the program. Without these 2 partners, this whole thing would be impossible. So, did you just take a picture? Oh, excellent. Okay. So give it up for all of them again. Yes. The Safe Parking Team, Foothill Unity Center, and Trinity Lutheran Church. Next, I invite the North Fair Oaks Empowerment Team with one of their partners, Harambee Ministries, to come up. The North Fair Oaks team is working to beautify and not gentrify North Fair Oaks, the North Fair Oaks neighborhood, through things like complete streets and affordable housing. Joyce, is Joyce going to speak?
She's sick.
Okay, so Tina, okay. So Tina, who is part of the team, is going to say a few words.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I got involved about 1.5 years ago, and Sister Joyce couldn't be here today, so I'm here on her behalf, as well as Dr. Walton, as you heard before. So, and Jill has been an amazing partner making housing and community happen. So we're that North Fair Oaks team of folks trying to re-envision what that looks like, as was said in the video. You know, once it was a thriving part of the African-American business community, and now you see there's really nothing to bring you to that area. So we're imagining what would it look like to have not only affordable housing, but viable business, place to sit, open space, things that would draw people to the neighborhood once again. So our efforts are there. We did the survey the neighborhood, and I think there was almost 1,000 folks that completed that part of the survey, looking at complete streets, changing the design of the streets so it slows traffic, because currently, if you drive up North Fair Oaks, you know what I'm talking about. It's a hazard, right? So just those are some of the things that are in process. The city of Pasadena is looking for grants for that particular piece of our neighborhood of North Fair Oaks to really refurbish and do the needed kind of not just repairs, but just a new way of looking at that whole area, the streetscape. So I think that's about it for that part. The 20%ers is an offshoot, again, making housing community happen. had that program, and then Harambee has decided to take the lead on that as a community partner. That name came about because of that initiative where the city of Pasadena is saying 20% of affordable housing moving forward can be dedicated to those who were displaced from Pasadena due to housing, not being able to afford to stay in Pasadena over the last 10 years. So the 20%ers, a small group of folks saying, we want to come back to Pasadena, we can't afford to live here. They may be folks that are on the verge of being unhoused. And we're not a social service agency in the sense that we're not caseworkers. What we are doing is just coming alongside of folks to help them get in the pipeline, find the necessary housing, get back into affordable housing, look at the housing opportunities in our city, and find those resources with them. So last time we met, we actually went online and did the work of getting in the system and just seeing how it's very difficult when you look at housing and you go to the website, on the city's housing website, most of those places have a huge waiting list. So they're really not viable. And we have to find other means and vehicles to get our folks in our neighborhood to stay or to come back and be housed. Thank you for your time.
So Tina, if you can stay up here. Tina, we're going to give you a certificate of appreciation because you're also with the Harambee Center, with Harambee Ministries. Yeah, thank you. So Anthony's got a certificate of appreciation for you, and going to take a picture there. So give it up again for the North River Oaks team and the Harambee Center. Now I want to invite forward the team that has incorporated as the San Gabriel Valley Community Land Trust. Can all the board members please come forward? A community land trust makes housing more affordable because the land is held by a trust, a nonprofit entity. So when someone buys a home, they pay only for the home and not the land. And then a resale formula keeps the homes permanently affordable. Connie Tamkin, another pastor at this church, is the chair of this team and and you're chair of the board, right? Yes. So she's going to say a few words.
We're thankful to be birthed from, actually midwifed from making housing a community happen. Conversation began in 2019 after the 20% inclusionary housing got approved here in Pasadena, when one of the council members cast the vision of wanting to see a regional community land trust. Our mission is to serve 31 municipalities as well as the unincorporated areas here that encompass the area of San Gabriel Valley. That equates to about 1/5 of the population of LA County, roughly 2 million people. We are hoping to be working with local governments and advocacy groups who are aligned with our mission to enable community control of housing solutions for perpetual affordability. Residents are being forced out of their neighborhoods by market pressures and have to commute from cities in the Inland Empire of San Bernardino County to work here in LA County in our cities. 2 years ago, the average home median selling price in San Gabriel Valley was $750,000. As of October of this year, that same home is up 37.2% at $1.4 million. We, as the San Gabriel Valley Community Land Trust, are in our infancy, but we are positioned to soon acquire property to hold in trust with community control for the benefit of those in the community, and to be a force in preserving neighborhoods from market pressure and investment purchases intended to flip homes for a profit. Yes, I need to say yes to that. The families who will qualify for a community land trust home would be qualified by earning 70 to 100% of the area median income. That's a term that's in the real estate marketplace. The median income right now is $91,000. However, those here in San Gabriel Valley have a median annual income of $70,000. These are the people who we will serve in providing affordable housing. So the challenges ahead are daunting. However, with the support of people like yourselves and partnerships with MHCH and others like Green Line Green Line Housing Foundation, who is one of our members on the board. We are hoping to be part of that solution of affordable housing. So let me take a brief moment to introduce our board members. Jasmine Schuper, Ryan Colburden, Rick Nazares, Margaret Lee, and I saw Grant here earlier, Grant Power, and we're missing Grace, who is across the pond in London. So we appreciate all your We appreciate your support, participation, prayers, and your financial contribution to any of us who are trying to make it happen. Thank you.
So also, we 10% of what we collect today will go toward the San Gabriel Valley Community Land Trust, and in addition, MACH is giving them $2,000. So we also want to recognize Jasmine Schuper and the Green Line Foundation. And we have, Anthony, you have the word? Can everybody stay up here for the picture? Oh, you did the picture? Okay, we're doing the award then. Okay, so the Green Line Foundation addresses addresses racial justice through home ownership. So we're giving them a certificate of appreciation. Thank you, Jasmine. Now we want to take a few minutes. We're going to take 5 minutes for everyone. You've been talking to each other, I know, before this, but we want to take 5 minutes to get to know each other further around your tables or wherever you're sitting. Introduce yourself to someone that you don't know. Okay, now that we've gotten to know each other, let's come back together. We're going to have some special music from the First Methodist Church Choir.
Unless the Lord builds the house, its builders labor in vain. I want to live in the Lord built house. I want to live in the Lord built house. I want to live in the Lord built house. Unless the Lord builds the house, its builders
Thank you to the choir here at First Methodist Church for providing that great music. They made the video just for this event. At this time, I would like to invite the Congregational Land Team to come up with their partners, the Arroyo Group and LA Voice. The Congregational Land Team consults with the congregations to get affordable housing built. The chair of this team, Phil Burns, has played a major role in rezoning congregational land for affordable housing in 3 cities and for getting it into the housing elements of many others. So I'm going to ask Phil to come over and say a few words.
Thank you, Bert. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's such a pleasure to see so many people invested in housing justice, invested in building strong and inclusive communities, especially here in Pasadena and across Southern California. The Congregational Land Committee, or team, has been blessed to work together over the past 3+ years on advising religious congregations who want to explore affordable housing development on their land. What we do is we work with congregations, with cities, with others to put together a plan for affordable housing development that is viable, that is impactful, that is a win-win for all of those involved. And then we structure fair partnerships between religious congregations and affordable housing developers who can actually get it done. Some of you may be intimately familiar through your own religious congregations, some of the struggles that we in different congregations are going through at this time. Some have estimated that 100,000 or more congregations will close across the United States in this decade. But there is hope. There is hope for congregations to survive, to make their land into something that is valuable, not only enabling the church to continue, but also really blessing the neighborhood and carrying out the mission to which, at least those of us Christians, that Christ called us and empowered us and gave us resources such as land to carry out. And so I'm very blessed to work alongside other extremely talented, top-of-the-line members of our Congregational Land Committee. We have here Hugh Martinez, who is an affordable housing expert and developer at Western Pacific Housing. Andrea Vocos is here representing LA Voice for Reverend John O, who is a key member of our committee, and then Jill as well, and those who are not here, Andre White, who is our development and finance advisor, and I'm missing somebody else, Maura with LA Voice as well, and Margaret Munoz with the Arroyo Group with my firm is also here this afternoon. So we have over 70 congregations across Los Angeles County that have reached out to us almost without any kind of advertisement, seeking our assistance, and if any of you fall into that bucket, certainly feel free to reach out to us. Thanks.
Thanks, Phil. And can you stay up here so Phil can take a picture? So Phil is also the principal planner of the Arroyo Group. The Arroyo Group has been responsible for crafting religious overlay zones and overlay zone proposals for another number of California cities, Southern California cities, as well as consulting with the state level group. We're also giving a, let me do the PowerPoint. We're also giving a certificate of appreciation to LA Voice. As he mentioned, LA Voice is a partner in this effort. And also we want to recognize Andre White and Mitchellville Real Estate Group. They helped do the feasibility studies. So we're all taking a picture together. Great. And Margaret, add Margaret to the mix. All right. Yeah, give it up again for the Congregational Land Committee and their partners. Next, I want to invite the Affordable and Supportive Housing Advocates team up, along with representatives from their partners, Pasadena's Organizing for Progress, Pasadena Studios, National Core, and Bridge Housing.
So, where's Jim Osterling?
Our Affordable and Supportive Advocates team, or ASHA, is our main advocacy team and has won some major victories in recent years. As a result of their advocacy, 134 units of permanent supportive housing for our sisters and brothers who are experiencing homelessness in Pasadena will be completed in the next year, and more units are in the pipeline. So I invite 134 units with more in the pipeline. I invite the chair of this team, Dr. Anthony Manousis, to come and say a few words.
Okay, so let me get to the microphone. Okay, can you all hear me? Okay, now can you hear me? Yay. Well, I want to first of all just say how extraordinary it is to see so many people here who care about affordable housing. And give yourself a hand. So I want to see how many of you, well, first of all, I want to say it isn't easy to get affordable housing policy or affordable housing projects passed. It takes a huge effort, a big campaign, and it takes people like you. So I want everybody here who has ever written a letter to an elected official to stand up. Just written a letter. Yay! Now, keep standing. I want everybody who's ever been to a city council meeting to speak up, to stand. If you've been to the city council and spoken up, please stand. All right, yes. So you are all officially members of the ASHA team. You are affordable, supportive housing advocates, and we really appreciate you. So the way we get things done in this city and almost any other city is you have to be persistent, passionate, and prophetic. And you have to show up over and over again and stand up for what you believe in. So you've heard we've had successes this year. We've had rezoning of church land for affordable housing, but I have to confess we didn't get all we wanted. We got what John Kennedy said, half a loaf, but we're going to come back and try to get the whole loaf this year with help from our partners. We're also reaching out statewide to support a statewide initiative to have affordable housing on church land in every part of our state. This will be a game changer, and there's a bill in the works that we're supporting that will pass next year. All right? We will make it happen. So I just want to say that we have a lot of other initiatives. It's in our booklet, and we really need your support. So if you want to be part of our team and meet with us and plan and strategize and make housing happen in our city, please contact me. We need all of your support. We need your participation, and we'll make it happen. We'll make affordable housing happen in our city. We will end chronic homelessness. We can do it. Si se puede. Si se puede.
So thank you, Anthony, for all that you and your team are doing. We're also giving certificates of appreciation to all the partners. Pasadena's Organizing for Progress has been a major ally this year in both the rent control campaign and in working on Pasadena's housing element. Pasadena Studios is building 180 micro units. Please stay up here. You can't escape, yeah. Pasadena Studios is building 180 micro units, studio apartments targeted to entry-level workers earning 30% to 60% of area median income. Bridge Housing is building 69 units of permanent supportive housing for seniors experiencing homelessness. And finally, National Core is building 106 units of affordable senior housing right in our Civic Center. 10% will be permanent supportive housing for those experiencing homelessness. Give them all a hand. Have we taken the picture, or are we still taking it? Okay, excellent, thank you. And so Anthony is going to... So Anthony is going to come now and present some more certificates of appreciation. Anthony's announcing it, but they all have. Okay.
So as we've said repeatedly, we couldn't do this work without all our partners. So those of you who've gotten certificates given to you at your table, please come up here so we can have a picture taken of you with your certificates. We want someone from POP to be up here.
That was part of your team.
Oh, that was last time? Okay. Bridge Housing?
Yeah, that was part of your team too.
Okay. And the Clergy Community Coalition? All right. So, everybody come on up.
Okay, National Core, do you want to come back up and I'll get a picture?
Yeah. So, oh yeah, here it is. So yeah, we have quite a diverse group up here. We have Ed Miskey from Union Station, who does amazing work providing services for our homeless neighbors and advocating for affordable housing. We have Charles Loveman, who's providing home ownership, helping people to get equity that they need to move forward. It's a great project. And who else do we have up here? Oh, we have the Clergy Community Coalition with Myra Nolan, which comprise 76 churches and congregations in our community. And they have been incredibly supportive of affordable housing, rent control, rezoning church land. And then POP has been absolutely wholeheartedly committed to housing justice and affordable housing. And this is what it takes, friends. This is what it takes. This is how Pasadena was able to reduce its homeless count by 56% over the last decade, because we have a community that cares, that works together. And that's how it happens. This is how it happens. So thank you all for being here, and we'll continue. We're just getting started. Frankly, I'm not gonna end this work until there's no homeless people on our streets. Okay? That's it. Yep.
Thank you to all our partners, and now welcome back Fidel Sanchez. Are you in the house? Yes, Fidel Sanchez. He's going to give us some more music.
Hello, hello. Yeah, I did sing before and the microphone was not on, but what I'd like to say is that I feel the energy that is happening in this room. So I was also one of those families that I was kicked off from where I was living. So I totally understand. And thank you, Gil. Thank you, Anthony, for bringing me and sing for you guys. I have a song from Latin America. I grew up with this. The name of the song is The People Walk. And I'm going to be singing in Spanish, though. But that the refrain said the people walk throughout the war together and cry out, "Come, O Lord." The people who long to claim the promise, God liberated them. The poor ones of the war await down of hope, when justice will shine and make oppression flee. The empty hands of all are raised to you, Lord God, or set us free. Pueblo que camina por el mundo, gritando, ven Señor. Un pueblo que busca en esta vida la gran liberación. Los pobres siempre esperan el amanecer de un día más justo y sin opresión. Los pobres hemos puesto la esperanza en ti, libertador. Un pueblo que camina por el mundo, gritando, ven Señor. Un pueblo que busca en esta vida la gran liberación. Salvaste nuestra vida de la esclavitud, esclavos de la ley sirviendo en el temor. Nosotros hemos puesto la esperanza en ti, Dios del amor. Un pueblo que camina por el mundo, gritando, ven Señor. Un pueblo que busca en esta vida la gran liberación. Should I do another one, or what's happening? One more? That's it.
We'll call you back one more.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
You're coming back one more time. Thank you, Fidel. That brings us to our Housing Justice Rockstar Awards. Some of us have been trying to get rent control in Pasadena for over 20 years. We lobbied city council, we wrote letters and op-eds, and then we gathered signatures on petitions several times to get rent control on the ballot. But it seemed no matter what we did, we couldn't get it done. But there was a group of people here in Pasadena who just wouldn't give up. And because they wouldn't give up, we didn't give up. MHCH went all in. We canvassed, we phone banked, we hired an intern to work on the campaign, we put on multiple community forums on rent control, we gathered signatures at food banks, and if you think that was a lot, you're right, that was a lot. But it was the Pasadena Tenants Union that did the heavy lifting. They wrote the measure, they oversaw and ran the campaign. It was this group of tenants, renters, people who were vulnerable to retaliation, who were fighting for their own survival, who decided to join together in solidarity, refusing to give up, refusing to let go of each other, and holding each other tight. They pulled us all over the finish line. They got rent control passed in Pasadena. I admit I had given up hope. I didn't have faith that it could be done. But although most of them are actually not religious, they had faith. They showed me how to have faith, how to act in solidarity. They got it done. So it is my honor to present them with the Tenant Protectors Rockstar Award. So I want to invite Ryan Bell, Michelle White, Aaron Levy, B. Rooney, Jane Panangaden, and Liberty McCoy, and any of the other organizers that are there at that table to come up. while they're taking the picture, I want to say that before Measure H, rent could be increased twice per year for a total of 10%. Now it can only be increased because of Measure H once per year and only at 75% the rate of inflation. This still provides a fair return for landlords, but it will be a crucial difference that will make thousands in our city secure in their housing. So I'm going to invite Ryan Bell to come and say a few words.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your enthusiastic welcome and congratulations. I know Bert said it's somehow we that did it, but it's really the big we, like all of us. And I wanted to ask if you, this is not part of my minute and a half, if you, if you made even one phone call or canvassed one door or donated $1, would you just stand up if you're able? Or endorsed the measure, if you had anything to do with it? Yeah, congratulations. On behalf of the Tenants Union, we are thrilled at the result of this election, the passage of Measure H. All of you rose to the challenge one more time after 20 years of this, and we prevailed. We had over 600 unique volunteers. We knocked on over 42,000 unique doors for a total of 120,000 knocks. We knocked on a lot of doors 2 and 3 times. We called 52,000, made 52,000 phone calls, sent 185,000 text messages, and raised $361,000. And we won by a 7.6% margin. So there's no chance that anybody could say that it was we barely did it. The Pasadena community changed the city charter to permanently codify strong tenant protections, rent control, eviction protections, a rental board, and a rental registry. So many times we've been asked, how many units will be affected by rent control? And we always say, we don't know. Nobody knows. Well, we're going to have a rental registry. We're going to know how many units we have in the city. We defied the massively wealthy landlord lobby and the realtors who outspent us, but who have no real connection to this city other than taking money from the working class and putting it in their own pockets, literally enriching the already wealthy on the backs of the poor. And we defied 20-plus years of stubborn refusal of the political class to listen to the residents, the voters. We stood up to Mayor Gordo and 6 out of 7 city council members, present company excluded, and ourselves created the solutions to the problems that we face. Politicians are not now and never will be the answer to our urgent needs, including the need for housing security and affordable housing. They are at best allies in the struggle. We are the answer, and we prove that together. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. If you are a tenant or an ally of tenants, please join the Pasadena Tenants Union. It only costs $1 or $5 a month if you want to pay dues, and you don't even have to pay dues. So if you're a tenant or even an ally of tenants, please join us because the work continues. This victory is just one more step towards our ultimate goal of breaking the power of private property and finally removing all housing from the speculative market. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ryan, and the PTU team. You are now heroes in the community. And so we proudly present you with the Tenant Protectors Housing Justice Rockstar Award. So now Anthony is going to come and present a couple of awards.
So it's my privilege and my honor and my pleasure to present an award to an amazing public servant, Jess Rivas. was appointed to the Pasadena City Council in February 2021 and elected for a full term in June 2022, and has already proven to be a courageously progressive city council member. She has been a staunch supporter of affordable housing and the only council member to support Measure H, and her courage and her commitment to the cause of renters and low-income residents of our city have earned her the affordable housing rock star accolade. When I think of Jess Rivas, I think of John Kennedy's famous book, Profiles in Courage. Jess has the courage to stand up for what she believes, even when she is the lone voice. So let's give her a hand for her courage and commitment.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'll just start off by saying the reason I have the courage to stand up and be the lone voice a lot of times is because I know I'm not alone. Look at this. I'm with you all. I'm with the people. It's odd that I am the lone voice. That shouldn't be the case. But I'll tell you what I told Anthony when he first reached out to me to let me know I'd be receiving this recognition, and that's, are you sure? I just been on the council for not that long. I feel like I haven't had a chance to do that much, but I'm very honored to receive this honor. It really, for me, is just a way for me to commit myself to continue to do the work and to continue to work with you all in partnership. Again, it's not me alone, it's working with everyone. I hope in this short time I've been on the council that it's been obvious that I am an advocate and a partner for housing justice. That my top priority, or one of my top priorities as a council member, is to make sure Pasadenans stay housed and that we lend a hand to our neighbors experiencing homelessness. To do that, we have to recognize that we're in a housing crisis and that we therefore take the appropriate steps. And if there's one thing I've learned over the last almost 2 years now, it's that no big important change gets done in the city without the community, you all, pushing us, the council, to do it. And so a big example of that, of course, congregational zoning got done. Still a lot more work to do, and so I look forward to working with you all to making sure we get it where it needs to be. And then we also found an example, which we just heard about, of what happens when the council isn't responsive to the community, and we go straight to the residents, and then they on their own will get the city to do the right thing. So again, I want to recognize the Measure H folks for with all of you, or many of you, to get Measure H passed. And so I'm just so excited to continue to work with you all as a partner to get, make sure we all have the dignity, the basic dignity of human right of housing and having a roof over our heads. So thank you so much.
So I'm also feeling great joy in presenting an award to another remarkable human being. I first heard about Brandon Poon when the housing department sent his resume to us last summer. He'd wanted to intern there, but fortunately, we were given a chance to hire him as an intern. When I saw his resume, I was blown away. I thought he was a graduate student. It turns out he was a junior at Polytechnic High School. Now, oh, sophomore, yeah, he was a sophomore. He was a leader, president of his class, captain of the debate team, and also persuaded or encouraged many of his classmates to write letters to elected officials. I thought, this is an amazing young man, and we need to connect him with a rent control campaign. And he worked tirelessly for that campaign. He made phone calls, he knocked on doors, he even wrote an op-ed piece for Colorado Boulevard. And he spoke out in city council. So he's a true affordable housing housing rock star, and he inspires hope for our future, and it is my pleasure to give him this award.
Thank you for the lovely words, Anthony. There are so many people who inspired and mentored me throughout everything I did, and I want to take this time to recognize a few of them. First, I want to thank Jill and Anthony for giving me the phenomenal experience of interning for MHCH and for welcoming me into their beautiful home. They are both visionary leaders and selfless individuals, and their unfailing compassion for our unhoused neighbors is a model for us all. Next, I want to thank Bea and Jane from the Pasadena Tenants Union for making my 3-month internship feel like 3 days. Whether it was knocking on doors, calling voters, or speaking at City Council, they always challenged me to put myself out there and to grow into the advocate I always wanted to become. Finally, I want to recognize my fellow honorees, Councilmember Jess Rivas and the Pasadena Tenants Union and Ryan Bell, for their unwavering commitment to housing justice in our city. To be recognized alongside such dedicated and distinguished advocates and public servants is truly a great and humbling honor. Passing rent control was a tremendous victory for our most vulnerable neighbors, for our renters, and for our city. But the fight for housing justice is not over yet, and it gives me great hope for the future of our city, that MHCH and all of these great organizations are here to lead it. Thank you.
So please welcome back Fidel Sanchez.
I also feel like a rock star, but I'm trying to do my best. Yeah, there is another song from Latin America. The name of the song is We Are Americanos. Si somos americanos, we are Americans. If we are Americans, we are brothers, gentlemen. We have the same hands and we have the same flowers. If our Americans will all be neighbors, we all share the wheat, we all be good brothers. Well, we'll dance like the marinera, refalosa, samba, or song. If we are Americanos, will be a son. I would like to have a little bit of Valium. Somos americanos, somos hermanos, señores. Tenemos las mismas manos, tenemos las mismas flores. Si somos americanos, seremos todos vecinos. Compartiremos el trigo, seremos buenos hermanos. Bailaremos marinera, resbalosa, zumba y son. Si somos americanos, seremos una canción. Si somos americanos, seremos una canción. Si somos americanos, seremos todos iguales. El blanco, el mestizo, el indio y el negro son como tales. Si somos americanos, no miraremos fronteras. Cuidaremos la semilla, miraremos la bandera. Si somos americanos, somos hermanos, señores. Pues del trigo miraremos las banderas. Bailaremos marinera, resbalosa, zumba y son. Si somos americanos, seremos una canción.
Thank you, Fidel. And so we now have a Perseverance Rockstar Award. Many of our brothers and sisters who find themselves without a home, without a roof over their heads, suffer from personal challenges that most of the rest of us don't. And speaking as someone who worked hands-on in direct service for these brothers and sisters for 15 years, I can tell you that our society has not yet found a way to give all of them the support they need. And so even when they get an apartment, keeping it, staying housed is still a monumental struggle. And each year that they do it is the fruit of valiant perseverance that most of us can't imagine, a fight that might defeat many of us were we in their place. But persevere they do. The next awardee is someone who, after living years without a home, got an apartment in 2007 and has overcome personal and situational challenges to stay in that apartment for the last 15 years. So I want to invite Stephen Hill to come and tell us just a little bit about his story.
Hello, my name is Steve, and I've been on Section 8 Shelter Plus Care since September 2007. With the help of the Pasadena Housing Department, Pacific Clinics, and my case manager at the time. They really helped to literally get me off the streets. I never thought I would become homeless. I was raised middle upper class with a good education, loving parents. I've worked many jobs, and I've had an extensive education. But instead of graduating from DeVry, I went homeless. Then I was in a terrible accident. The Union Station Foundation helped. They put me into a sober living. Though it wasn't about addiction, it got me off the streets. But since I had not addressed my mental health issues, I ended up back on the streets for a second time. Food banks like the Friends Indeed and the Salvation Army helped me to save money. Programs like these really helped stabilize my financial situation. As for how I've managed to keep my housing for 15 years, luckily for me, drugs were not a big deal, but I did have to cut out almost all relations to avoid temptations and drug opportunities, so I could achieve a general peace of mind and complete sobriety. After doing a full shutdown and restart of many aspects of my life, including a social life, I'm still finding it hard to make friends and socialize, but I'm still trying and won't give up. But I have a few friends that I can talk to and a few people I can rely on for some basic help, and that's what really counts. I'm no longer trying to have hundreds of friends and acquaintances, and I don't properly cultivate or have too high of expectations of. Though I don't want to discourage anyone here from networking. Keep it real. So I might start volunteering, among other things, to keep myself busy and give back to the community. I've started going to the senior center and have a gym membership there. I plan on doing some groups and classes like Tai Chi and how to use my iPhone. And I'm still going to Pacific Clinics where I do some groups and outings to get around. Pasadena is the greatest city in a great county, in a great state, in a flawed country. We are truly blessed to live in such a bountiful and loving space and time in the history of mankind. We have everything to be thankful for, and we should pay back as much as we can to each other.
Well, Steve, congratulations for staying housed for 15 years.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations for being housed for 15 years, and it's my honor to give you the Perseverance Rockstar Award.
Thank you. I would like to thank Bert for being the MC of such a great event. And Jill for keeping me busy.
So Jill is now going to come and give an award.
The moment has arrived. I'm so excited. This has been glorious. Thanks to everyone for coming today. I want to say briefly, if you could please put a bid in for the auction, the silent auction. It's right back there with the two beautiful packages. And so make sure you put your names down for that. Thank you. And also, not now, when we finish, our pastor, Amy, has opened up the sanctuary. And so if you guys would like to see a glorious view that just truly gives honor and glory to God, I would encourage you to meander and enjoy that moment. But right now we have an amazing moment to celebrate the legacy of John J. Kennedy. And so I'm going to invite up here the sister of John J. Kennedy and the pastor of John J. Kennedy. And I think that's all. There may be others that should be up here, but those are the two ones that I want to make sure are here with me right now. If you could come on up, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. If you're related to John Kennedy, please join us. Thank you. So we are just thrilled to be able to confer and to honor John Kennedy and the legacy that he has. And his sister, I just had the delight to get to know her a few nights ago, and we're so grateful that Elizabeth Ellis is here to tell us a little bit about this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, a little bit about her brother. Thank you.
Good afternoon. G. Iris, you can come join me. This is my son, G. Iris. My other son is in the back, and my sister Geraldine is here. And anyway, we're honored to be here today. My name again is Elizabeth Ray Ellis, and I'm the sister of John Jackson Kennedy. I would like to thank Jill Shook for inviting me to stand before you and speak a little bit about my brother, as well as I want to honor the recipient, because I know it takes a lot of work to do what you do. So I also congratulate all the organizations that I got the honor today to hear from and see what you do in eliminating, yes, the housing shortage. John was a role model and mentor to many. He was a visionary who cared deeply about racial justice, about our seniors and those that were economically impacted. He especially cared about the focus on affordable housing for the extremely low income, very low income, and low income. In fact, our Pasadena City Council member, John J. Kennedy, had a goal for 1,000 affordable housing units in 1,000 days. And that goal has been accomplished. The reality is here, so I'm so excited about that. Today, we want to continue the legacy. So Hugh Martinez, 21-plus year veteran of affordable housing in the industry, worked for a variety of well-known affordable housing developers and holds a master in real estate development from USC. He has developed over 1,500 units of affordable housing and way more than 30,000 square feet of retail supermarkets from Sacramento to San Diego. He is a man that has donated hours of his time in providing policy support and advice to the Congressional Land Committee. And it was my honor today that I got a chance to meet him, and I am so overwhelmed, and I see why you guys are giving him the John J. Kennedy Award, Rock Star Award. So as I pass this mic, I just want to say my son at the service for our brother, I was telling Jill that he was going to say something else, but the Lord led him another way. And what he said was, John is gone, but all of us are here. I'm just kind of saying it in a different way. And yet we need to continue with our brother John, with people that knew him, what he did. It's not that, who's going to take the torch? All of us. Yes, all of us are going to go forward and be rock stars and do something about this community, the community that I was raised up in, John J. Kennedy was raised up in, and we love and are passionate about doing what we can to help all of us thrive and strive to do better. So thank you for again, and I want to, oh my gosh, I want to just acknowledge that I met him today, and this guy is off the chain, and I thank him for all that he does. You are a rock star. Thank you. Probably without the mic. Can we come step out?
Yeah, we're gonna get a picture.
We'll get him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me just, I'm going to say something really briefly here before our awardee, Hugh Martinez, speaks. When churches express interest in wanting to consider affordable housing on their land, there's a lot to consider. There's zoning, there's finance. You have to get some idea if it's even possible and feasible. So it seems like the way it's worked, the different roles in our Congregational Land Committee, that me and Hugh have kind of teamed up. We're that initial connection and that face to those churches. And so we even meet this Monday with an African American church at 9 in the morning that wants to do this. And so it seems like maybe once every month, a couple weeks, he and I will make an appointment. He does his magic. He looks at all the zoning. He figures out all the numbers. And so he's able to give them a quick and dirty idea of what's feasible before they might go through our 6-step process of the cohort and then all the intense work we do with each church. It's about between $15,000 to $20,000 worth of free technical support we give to each congregation to prepare them to partner with an affordable housing developer. So I really appreciate this man, and so he's going to say a quick word of thanks.
Thank you. I want to thank the Congregational Land Committee for nominating me for this award. It really is an honor to be recognized with the John Kennedy Award. I first moved to Pasadena in 2014 and first saw that John Kennedy was a statesman, very different than a lot of the electeds that see the city council as a stepping stone to another seat, whether assembly, congressional, or state senate or what have you. So it's really an honor to receive this award, and I hope to continue working with our team and our colleagues. I have Gio here from Abode, a friend, competitor, colleague, National Corps, and a few others. So excuse me if I didn't name everyone, but everyone here in the room to continue to deliver affordable housing to not just this community, but other communities in the state. And Jill is working on expanding our efforts outside the state. So we're really trying to leverage our work to help communities in need regionally and even nationwide when possible. Thank you so much.
This week, Hugh Martinez is also going to Austin. There's a church in Austin, Texas that has reached out to us. So he is definitely committed to expand this work with us. Thank you.
So I'm going to go over the answers to the quiz here, the one that many of you have the quiz. So the first one was an icebreaker. So number 2, MHCH presently has 4 teams. Which one is not a team? So the answer was D, we do not have a cookie making team. I'm sure that was really hard. But if you listened close to everything in the program, you would have picked up the answer somewhere in there. Number 3, what campaign is MHCH presently not involved with? We are not making sure, it's F, we're not making sure that pets are allowed in all affordable housing units. Although that would be nice. Those, we just don't have that team. Don't have that campaign. Number 4, in which of the following cities has there not been a one-day housing justice institute? And I'm not sure what that one is. I think it's G, isn't it? G, it's Las Vegas, Nevada. Number 5, true or false, 33% of the 512 people counted as experiencing homelessness in Pasadena in 2022 were African American, even though only about 8% are African American. Unfortunately, that is true. Number 6, true or false, Pasadena has seen a 54% increase in African Americans since 1990. That is false. It's a decrease, unfortunately. Number 7, I'm sorry, I'm going through these quickly. If we had more time, I would have people raise their hands or whatever, but for the sake of time, I'm going through these quickly. So number 7, under the leadership of the Pasadena Tenants Union, 15,000 residents of Pasadena signed petitions to get Measure H on the ballot, and it was approved by nearly 54% of the voters. Which of the following is not true about Measure H? And it is D, it does not prevent landlords from making a profit. So that's very important to understand. Number 8, MHCH has been involved with housing justice work since 2000 for 23 years under different names, such as Affordable Housing Action, or AHA, GPOG, which was Greater Pasadena Affordable Housing Group. We have had many notable successes. Which one is not true? And one is that we did not pass a policy that allows affordable housing on all congregational land in the city. We only got it on some congregational land. So as Anthony said, we are going to come back at it again to get more. So, oh, E, sorry. E, sorry. How many churches in Southern California have approached our Congregational Land Committee seeking advisement to have affordable housing built on their underutilized land? And although the video said, I think 40 or 49 or something like that, it's actually, at this point, it's D, 70. 70 congregations have approached us about having affordable housing on their underutilized land. And number 10, true or false, this year the Pasadena Housing Department has 715 affordable housing units under construction, plus 1,000 missing middle rental units converted from luxury to middle income. Our housing department director said that MHCH created the atmosphere to make this possible, and that is fortunately true. So does somebody have the winners of the auction? Because I don't have those. Somebody have those? Okay, Connie will come, Pastor Connie Tampkin will come forward with the winners of the silent auction, which we tried to keep really silent, but it was only semi-silent.
And the winner is, for the one on this side of the table, Jim Osterling for $100. Yay! And for the one on this side of the table, another $100 by Denise Robb. Yay!
Wow, what a glorious time today. Thank you all for this huge enthusiasm. It's beautiful. I want to start off by mentioning that in 1950, my parents built a house with their own hands. It was the home where I was born. And if you could follow this is the house. And that's my father, and that's me with my mother. And their junior college professors wondered why they were not in class. So one of them came out to see what they were building, and he gave them an A. Later, this very special home was destroyed by a freeway, slicing right through our town. This has happened over and over in the United States, especially through thriving African American communities. And this has also happened here in Pasadena. Today, MHCH is seeking reparations for those displaced by the construction of the 710 freeway in collaboration with many of the organizations that are represented here today. Please raise your hand if you're part of that team, or stand up. There's several people. I know, yeah. Jasmine, Charles Loveman, thank you. So this was the dream of John J. Kennedy, and we're seeking to carry on this vision. So to do this, it takes money. It takes staff time. So I want you to begin prayerfully considering how much you can give today to help make all this happen. Before moving to Pasadena, I actually lived in a van. I lived in Mexico in a van. There's too many people today that are living in their vehicle as their only home. But I had a choice. Too many today don't have that choice. A few years ago, my dear friend and my brother, Pastor Stewart, witnessed the police towing away somebody across from his church on North Fair Oaks, and that was the only home they had. But today, we have the only safe parking site in all of San Gabriel Valley, and today Brian is housed, and others are housed because of that program. They no longer live in their car. They live in their own apartments, thanks to our partnership with the Foothill Unity Center and thanks to the Trinity Lutheran Church. We need more people like Pastor Sharon Richter, who has opened her church and parking lot. We need sites throughout San Gabriel Valley. Paying for case management, security, car repairs, and more to run such programs is not cheap. For example, it's $500 a month just to pay for security, and it's a whole lot more than that to pay for this case management. So we need funding. We need funding to run these programs. In 1991, I moved from Mexico to Pasadena, and I moved into the Harambe Center. And about that time was when I had the joy of getting to know Tina Williams. Where are you, Tina? I hope you're still here. So Tina and I have known each other for a long time. And I moved there because of our dear brother and my lifelong mentor, Dr. John Perkins. I got the privilege of living there next door to Dr. John Perkins. I could feel what it was like to live in what was the biggest daytime crime in all of Southern California, right in that neighborhood. But unlike those who were living in that community that we were serving, I had a history of generational wealth, growing up in Orange County among orange groves and avocado orchards that my grandfather planted in 1906. I rode my bike all over Northwest Pasadena, and I dreamed of owning one of these cute bungalows, and I told my dad. My parents helped me with a sizable down payment, but as soon as I moved in to the African American neighborhood where Anthony and I live today, I began to improve my home. Others like me began to move in, and then I noticed a lot of my black neighbors were leaving. One went into foreclosure, another one was evicted from their home from the high rents. And so I became part of the problem, and I wanted to be a neighbor. Bill Wong, our housing director, says the only way to address gentrification is through affordable housing. So we're seeking to have mixed income housing everywhere. To save our cities, to save our nation, we need to be talking with folks at all income levels right next door to us. We helped to craft the inclusionary housing policy, and that puts low-income people right next door to high-end. As mentioned before, we've witnessed over 1,000 units that have been created through that one policy at no cost to the city. In fact, it's put $26 million into our city's Affordable Housing Trust Fund that has produced even more units. To do this kind of work, we need funding, and we need organizers. Organizers like Bert, who's amazing. And next slide. So I want to introduce our staff to you. He's our community organizer par excellence. Thank you, Bert, for your amazing dedication. So, Margaret Lee, would you stand up, please? We are so blessed to have Margaret Lee advise us with her great wisdom and knowledge. She teaches all these great courses at Azusa Pacific as a professor there, all the things we need, how to write grants, how to have how to get a good organization. So we're very grateful for her. Next slide. Morgan Duff Tucker is amazing. She, when I wanted to hire her, she was so shy, and I said, "You're really the one I want to hire." And she goes, "Oh, I don't think I can do the job," but she was amazing, and I'm so glad she's come to us and still with us. We discovered she had amazing skills around videographer, and now she's launched her own business doing that, but she still is helping us. Lucero Garcia is our newest staff member, and she comes to us with incredible skills as a community organizer. She's going to be working with us to open up Orange County, to do housing justice institutes in that community, as well as work with churches that are interested in having affordable housing on their land. And she is an urban planner, so we're very grateful to have her with us. We're also grateful for the RISA Foundation that has believed in us. They've given us $20,000 every year for the last 4 years. Typically, they just give grants out 2 years in a row, but they keep giving money to us. So it's wonderful to have people and foundations that believe in us. Next slide. Randy Bergsma, she has been helping us identify grants. And we haven't had a chance to write a lot of them, but we now have a nice selection of grants thanks to her. She was here in this area, in the LA area, out in Reseda area, and working with us. But then she moved to Austin, Texas. And so when you go there next week, Hugh, I think she'd like to see you if possible. But she has stayed on staff with us and has been working with grants. So we're very grateful for her work, for Randy Bergsma. So Anthony and I, we have given our time as co-founders and full-time staff to making housing and community happen, and it's a complete joy for us to play this role. Thank you. A few years after purchasing my home, I helped start the STARS program at Lake Avenue Church. After a few years, I learned that the students were dropping out of school, in part due to their apartments being sold out from under them. So I learned about the Agape Court, a faith-based affordable housing complex on Garfield Avenue by close to let me see, make sure I've got this right. Yeah, by the 210 freeway. So they had openings, and I had the joy of helping some of those STARS families get moved in. By spending just a third of their income, they had time to spend with their children and not have to work 3 to 5 jobs to make ends meet. Every one of the students that moved into the Agape Court graduated from college, and they were the first ones in their family to ever graduate. I was so impressed with that transformative power of affordable housing that I decided to write a book about churches across the nation that are providing affordable housing. To my utter amazement, they've been using my book on campuses across the country, including USC. I brought a few of these copies with me. You're still welcome to purchase one if you would like. But I didn't want to just talk and write about churches that are building affordable housing. I wanted to make it happen. And so that's when Phil Burns and I teamed up. And we came up with this idea of a congregational land team. So I'm utterly amazed that today, the growth of our congregational land team efforts is they now have 70 congregations throughout Southern California that are all approaching us. It costs between $15,000 to $25,000 per church. We have grant funding, but that doesn't go on forever. And so we need funding. This team expects to have at least 1,000 units planned by 2024. To do this sacred work, please begin to open your wallets and scan that RQ code on the front of your brochures. That will take you directly to our donate page if you want to use your credit card. There's envelopes around your table. I want you to grab one, and it tells you how to write a check if you have your checkbook with you. Someone earlier, I think it was Jess Rivas, said, "Do you believe we're in a housing crisis?" Raise your hand if you believe we're in a housing crisis. Have you been to Skid Row? Have you seen 60,000 people, half the size of this city, that are homeless everywhere? We are in a housing crisis, but who's responsible for addressing it? Everyone. Thank you, everybody. We all have a part to play. There's not one law in our city or state or nation that I know of that requires affordable housing. It all must be advocated for. The prophets of old all spoke to kings. They all spoke to leaders of nations and cities. We must do the same. We are responsible for the housing crisis. We're in a democracy, and our vote matters. We are the ones who shape our cities to be hospitable or to be exclusionary. If we don't show up and ask for affordable housing, it truly won't get built. How many of us here have been showing up? I think we already had that question, but I so thank each one of you. No one is happy to see our homeless brothers and sisters sleeping on our sidewalks. This is never a solution. Housing that folks can afford is indeed the solution. We've seen our homeless count drop by 54% in the last 10 years due to all these groups today that you've seen working together. I'm not aware of another city with such beautiful results, but we still have a long way to go. We still have 512 that were counted this year. It's doable, it's not impossible if we all do our part. So yes, we have a housing crisis, and it's homes that ends homelessness. Nonprofits like Door of Hope and Union Station that serve our homeless neighbors are scrambling all the time to find housing. We heard Stephen's amazing story, Stephen Hill, that housing is what turned his life around. But it wasn't just housing, it was housing with support, and that is essential. We all need support to get by. We all need each other. It's about love, it's about housing and land and policy, and it's about our hearts, keeping them tender and open, being willing to use the skills we have to do whatever it takes. The folks who ran the rent control campaign poured every fiber of their beings into that Herculean effort because of love, because of their love for all of us, because it affected their own lives and so many others. We also honor that steady persistence today that we've seen that Steve Hill has told us about, to hang in there over the long haul. We've been at this for 23 years. Bert, Michelle, and I tried to get rent control 23 years ago. We all have a role, and I want right now to have two other people join me, Connie and Eloise. Thank you. So we all have a role, and I'll be introducing them in just a minute, but I want them to be with me, because it might be a role setting up like what Dave Lohr has done to make it possible to do this event on live stream and to get all our sound set up. It might be someone like Marilyn Nabori. I don't know if you're here today, Marilyn, but she is amazing. This is what my office looked like when she comes on Wednesday. And then when we're done, this is what it looks like. So I feel so incredibly grateful. One day I stood right back here and I said, Marilyn, how are you doing? She goes, I want to help, but don't make me speak. Don't make me do anything, but I want to help. And I said, okay, what do you like doing? Do you like filing? She goes, oh, I love to file. And so she's been so helpful to me. I'm so grateful. She keeps my brain sane. So it could be that so it could be that you could record stories like Morgan or write the stories of those without a home. You might be a good writer. It could be helping those that are invisible to become visible. It might be befriending someone who is homeless, like Sonia has done, and like we have done. We look at what Moses said. He said, God asked Moses, what do you have in your hand? So we have to think, what do we have? What are the skills that we have? Well, we had a back house, we had space, and we had a friend who was experiencing homelessness. That was 7 years ago, and he's never left. It's been a great journey for us. Not easy, but a great journey. You might have a backyard. You might have space where you could build a back house. It may be transferring your land to a community land trust. That's something that we want to do with the San Gabriel Valley Community Land Trust, so that our home will be permanently affordable. Think outside the box and let that steady, ongoing creativity that we all have make a huge difference. Philanthropy today is really based on individual donors, one-time gifts or ongoing. We especially rely on the steady, ongoing monthly donations so we can plan our budget, so we can build sustainability for the long haul. So when you grab those envelopes or do that RQ code, think about an ongoing commitment. And it's important to know that 10% of all the funds today will help that Community Lands Trust get launched and strong. So I want to bring up two special people. They're already here. Don't need to bring them up. And then I'll continue in a minute. But what I'd like to do is first mention Connie. So Connie is the very first person that contributed to our nonprofit 4 years ago. So we sat down at Seeds and we talked, and she says, I'm willing to help. And I have saved that check. It means so much to me. So thank you. She's an amazing woman who is a true partner with us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then Eloise. Eloise, we've gotten to know through different situations, and she totally believes in the work we're doing. And she's going to take a minute and a half and just tell you why she believes in our organization.
Good afternoon. There's so much energy in the room and so much enthusiasm. I'm sure that the future is going to look even better than the past. Now, actually, what Jill asked me to do was to stand up here and explain to you why I made a major gift. And I said, sure, I would be, can you hear me?
It was $5,000. Wow.
A major gift, of course, is proportionate to everybody, every individual's financial situation. But for me, that was a major gift. And part of it was from the heart, because 16 years ago, in a messy divorce, I slept in the car for 14 months, but I did have money to hit the ATM and go camping. I lived in the mountains of North Carolina. So I have a heart for this. But I want to explain to you what went through my head in making a major gift, because most of us have half a dozen at least charities that for years we've given to. And so I chose to give to making housing happen, abundant housing happen. And I want to just tell you some of the factors that went through my mind. The first one is how important is the ministry of this organization in the big picture. And of course, right after oxygen and water and food comes housing. So this organization, this ministry, is a big priority. So that was my first consideration in giving to this organization. The second one, is it well managed? And that goes back to the board of directors. They're the legal governing entity of the not-for-profit organization, and you're hoping that they are knowledgeable and on track. And of course the staff, the board of directors and the staff. Before anybody makes a major gift, they're going to ask, is the organization well managed? And you can check that off, it's well managed here. And number 3 consideration is, does the organization say thank you? This is so simple, and yet there are some charities that drop people through the cracks. But it's so simple to say thank you. It takes 2 people to make a gift, one to give and one to receive. And the person making the gift wants to know what a difference it made. So all the organization has to do is say thank you and explain what a difference it made. So I let Jill know that this gift was in the pipeline, and even though she was out of town or buzzing around or I don't know what, I got something in the mail that was probably a report, and she just wrote thank you and an exclamation mark, Jill. And eventually I got a formal thank you. But it's so simple and so easy to make you feel good about the gift. And so you can check that with this organization. And the last thing I want to say is that there are so many enthusiastic volunteers associated with housing. All of you, all of your organizations, it's inspiring. Apparently, a lot of people believe the traditional spiritual brighten the corner where you are. We're lighting a candle in the darkness, and in all that light, we're pushing the darkness back. So I just wanted to explain to you why I made a major gift, and I'll put in a footnote here that it was from a traditional IRA, which means that over the decades, I did not pay any income tax on that. But when I take money out, I have to pay income tax. And so there's a procedure for making the gift directly to the charity. And so I made a tax-advantaged gift and didn't pay income tax on it. So I'm finished talking, but I want to just say that I was raised in the South, in the backwaters of the Chesapeake Bay. The eastern shore of Virginia is way behind the times, 50 years behind the times. It's a great place to be raised and a great place to retire to. And we went to a country Baptist church. And when Holly's Baptist had a revival, they went on for 10 nights until everybody in the community had a chance to be saved. So when I was asked to stand up and witness for Jesus, I said, sure, I'm happy to do that. Amen, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. I understand that we have just a little flexibility. We're a little over our time, and there is not the hard drop-off time that I was aware of, according to our pastor, so I hope that's true. So I just want to finish up a few final words. I was talking about how we all have a role, and we have big dreams. And Eloise mentioned how we have a plan of what we want to see happen. I'm going to say one more thing about my dad. He taught our family to dream big. When he was in high school, he wanted to have a dance. Maybe some of you remember the name Les Brown, but he said, I want to invite Les Brown to come. And everybody in that high school, including all of the professors, were saying, or teachers, they were saying, you're going to lose money. And so what he did was he got all the other high schools together, and they made all kinds of money. So that kind of dreaming big is in my veins. And so these are some of our big dreams. We want to see the faith community in every San Gabriel Valley host a one-day Housing Justice Institute. Mike Veerman, and if Carolyn is here. I want you to come up with me for a second. Yes, thank you. So Mike Veerman had a one-day institute in Arcadia, and he's continued with a group that's now called CHOA. Can you tell us what CHOA stands for? Do you remember?
I had to ask myself. It's Creative Housing Options in Arcadia.
Yay. So they are starting a group like ours in Arcadia by this name. And so we are very grateful for Carolyn being part of that group, and we have a certificate for Mike Veerman. Thank you. If you could, thank you. Oh, yeah, thanks. So the other big dream we have is to collaborate with leaders throughout the state to rezone every single church in the state, every congregation, every different denomination. So we also want to help the Congregational Land Team to start teams like ours around the country. So affordable housing is all about relationships, relationships with those in need that transform us, relationships with those we disagree with seeing the humanity in people that we don't agree with and finding common ground, relationships with our sacred land and all the laws that govern it, and all those people that make those laws. We have some great relationships here with folks that are going around right now to each table, and if you've written a check, please be sure and give that check to the folks that are circulating. We need relationships with decision makers, developers, city planners, and all the organizations that are here today that are fighting for those in need. This event is about uniting for housing justice, and we are so grateful that we have come together today to honor unity and our teamwork together in our city. So I want to mention just briefly one amazing thing, that oftentimes we think that subsidized housing is something that poor people have. In reality, every single home that's owned in this country is subsidized. If you look at the layout of all the interest deduction that our nation has for every home, that's at least 5 times more than the entire layout in our country for the cost of affordable housing. So we need to think about thinking differently about housing and recognize that we are all subsidized and we all need to participate in helping more housing happen. So if you haven't already taken that envelope, if you can see I've never done this before, this is really stretching it for me to ask for money, but I hope that you can do that now. Our goal is $50,000 by the end of this year. We already have $37,000, so that's amazing. Let's give a big hand for that. So, I want to thank all the volunteers walking around. I want to thank all of the people on our food team. So if they could come out, Donna, Lee, come here, Donna, Cider, all the, and Sonia. There's so many people today. If you could just stand up wherever you'll come up here. We are so grateful for all who have been so diligent to help make some beautiful food happen today, and we thank every one of you that signed up to bring food. Thank you. Thanks. I also want to thank the registration folks. If you could raise your hand, all those that helped with making sure you all get signed in. Thank you, thank you. So, and thank you to all the organizations that came today to interact with each of you. We also want to thank each of you for coming today. It means the world that you believe in our mission and that you're supporting us with your presence and your generosity. I want to end by thanking my mother, Donna Shook. And if we could put that slide up. So my mother was an artist, and you can probably kind of tell that's not the best picture. Can you go to the next one?
That's the only one.
it's the only one. Okay, I had 2 pictures. Anyway, my mom is a very stylish woman. She was always dressed to the 10s. And so today I'm wearing one of her jackets. And it makes me feel loved being able to wear something that she wore. She's late stage Alzheimer's. She's here at a boarding care in Pasadena. And we still treasure the opportunity to visit her every week. But she always believed in me, always. And she made sure that a percentage of all of her sales of the watercolor she did went to the work I do. So we need that. We all need people who believe in us. And so it means the world that you came today, it shows that you believe not only in us, but all the groups that are here represented. So we want to thank you, and God bless you.